I just got done watching the first episode of Netflix's Avatar The Last Airbender, and as hopeful as I was, as you can see in my previous video, the show significantly lacks some elements from the animated series that really help build up the characters and the audience's relationship toward them. The fact that now the show is so much more condensed means that we don't have nearly enough time to explore all of these smaller avenues that really breathed life into the characters and allowed us to see smaller, more delicate layers that make up these characters, that make them so complete and full. As you travel around the world with the gang, you really get this sense of camaraderie, like you're getting to know these people and these characters. And I know, especially when I was a kid, as parasocial and bizarre as it may sound, I basically felt like I was part of the gang. I felt like these guys were my friends, and that all of these casual little interactions really just help to sell this idea that if you pluck these characters out of the world and put them right next to you, you could have a conversation, relate to them all in the same way that you did when you watched the show. They wouldn't feel out of place if they were real people, because they were so thoroughly explored within these smaller, more intimate parts of the show. And the structure of this new live action series doesn't really give us an opportunity to become so involved and so invested. I always see people complain about filler episodes in anime and animated series, and it's never really made all that much sense to me, because going on these little excursions with the characters allows you to see an entirely different side of them, something not completely settled in the main conflict of the show, and it allows you to see the real person beneath the hero. It shows us something deeper than a cliche, something more than all the tropes and trivial necessities of a main character. It shows us the real person that the authors are trying to portray. The fact of the matter is, the show doesn't explore that nearly enough. And for any new viewers, they're getting a severely bare bones version that doesn't at all fully capture what it is that captivated us about this show. What ends up happening here is we lose those smaller, more delicate moments, and it doesn't allow us to connect with the characters on the same level as these 2D monochromatic scribbles on Nicktoons. The fact that Aang has pimples now does make him seem so much more like a real person, but the elements that we lose by taking out all these side missions severely handicap how relatable and connectable these characters can be. And you never truly feel what it is that made Avatar such a groundbreaking program. So then I began to wonder, what is it that makes these characters actually feel so real? There are other series where we go on all types of side quests with main characters. Naruto has the cat episodes, Dragon Ball Z has the infamous driver's license episode, and as wacky and out there as these concepts are, none of these side stories ever make you feel like the characters are as real as the ones that we get in Avatar. And it comes from one of the most unexpected places you'd never imagine. It's the comedy. The thing other shows do is that they kind of pick one style of comedy and run with it for the entire show, rather than one character specifically. They treat it more like a net, and any character is kind of capable of any type of wit or style of joke, as long as it fits the mold of the series. But this means that you kind of end up losing the identity of the characters, especially when it comes to what they think is funny and the way that they interact with the world around them. I think the reason Avatar's character building is so strong is because they really narrow down the personalities of these characters and don't make them too broad. Each of the characters have their own very unique version and blend of humor that appeal to very different tastes. Each character's sense of humor is an extension of their background and the conditions that they were formed in. The thing that makes Aang work comedically is that he's so childish and like innocent. I remember this scene where Aang walks past Sokka and he's like, "Hey, nice dress." He's not trying to be an asshole. He's just a kid. Like, "Oh dude, sick fit." And it's funny as fuck because it's not intended to be mean, and we never get the sense that Aang is this obnoxious, unpalatable little shit. Uncle Iroh is kind of just a wise ass. Like, he is an asshole. Like, there's that one scene where he's talking to Zuko in front of the girl, and he's like, "Oh, we named him after his dad, so we just call him Junior." Like, that is mean. That is rude. But that's his kind of joke. Sokka's thing is the sarcasm. Toph's humor is very mean but unassuming. It's like unintended things that you're not supposed to say. She's the epitome of an intrusive thought. She's not necessarily trying to be mean. She's like, I wouldn't have cast it any other way. A big muscly guy? At least I'm not bald lady. It's all different branches of comedy, and they write each one into a different character, which makes them very identifiable and easy to understand. Avatar is a show where each of the characters fill in their own little microcosm. And what this allows you to do is write characters with specificity, which makes them so much realer than most people are used to in any type of show, animated or not. If you enjoy this show, I think that's great. The point of this wasn't necessarily to hate on what we got, but more so to say, there's so much more out there that you'd be better off watching. This is a good introduction into this series and into this world, but it doesn't at all fully capture the expansiveness and thought that was put into all of the tiny little inner workings that really made Avatar stand out as a fictional world. I hope you guys take the time to check out the original series, so that you'd be able to fully appreciate the dedication and the passion that went into what I truly think is one of the best pieces of fiction that we've gotten in the past 30 years.
Please subscribe so that I can eat. And so that you don't miss my new videos. New videos coming real soon. Press that button so you don't miss anything. Bye bye.